AI, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Agentic. Its continuing mission, to explore strange new tools, to seek out new agents on new frameworks, to boldly code like no one has hacked before.
Hey, welcome to the channel. I am Captain Gherkin.
I'm Captain BDD Data.
And so we're going to bring you a type of technique to code with the AI. So Captain Gherkin is a play on words, or Captain Gherk is a play on words with the Gherkin format. It's a plain text format of how you write your goal of what you want to program. And
BD Datum is a play on BDD, Behavioral Driven Development, which is a coding technique we'll be using.
yeah, so you put those two together, you write some specs in a Gherkin format, and then you follow
BDD principles.
Yeah, and we're going to show you an example with Python using a command called behave to show you this BDD setup, and we're going to pair that with Aider, which is like just an excellent, droid that's on the market these days. We call them droids in this show, but ultimately it's a command line tool that saves you the time and communicates out to the AI and edits your code in place.
Yep.
And I think everybody's going crazy over, what is it, Cursor?
Yeah.
Right? There's Claude Dev, Cursor, and Aider. And Aider was the original, and Aider is just so useful, driven by the command line, because we're going to start to put Aider in some other tools for the show, and so that's why we like it so much.
And Aider is open source. We try and stick to open source here because we don't want to get locked into a company, aka or an organization like Starfleet. That's why we are Starfleet.
That's right. So we're breaking off from Starfleet Command and heading up our own galactic space travels. And this is the Starship Agentic that we're on right now. Really nice spaceship. So let's get to showing you some things on the screen.
So what's the mission today?
So this is just a fun little example of, having a terminal-based interface. And I want to use something like this to drive these commands.
So that's the mission today.
Yeah. And maybe we could work this up in ASCII art like I've done, or maybe we could you like what? There's a Dash. So Dash is a library in Python. So there's a lot of ways to create quick text-based UIs. And so Blessed is a great framework, and Rich is a great framework, just RICH. So if you want something like a really neat text framework, you can do that. But Dash is a way to make Python UIs look about as snappy as what you do with JavaScript.
Yep.
And so, and why not just do JavaScript?
I personally like Python because everything's it's the same language as the backend. So now you're with one language, one place to run behave, and it keeps the stack cleaner, and thus the AI can follow it easier.
Yeah.
As soon as you start going through multiple languages, the AI tends to get lost, and it starts making more syntax errors. In this case, Aider.
Okay, great. But you can see I'm able to type in, at the bottom there, I'm able to type in little commands that you type on the terminal. But that's just one example. I've worked up another example in a text base as well, and with this technique we're about to show you. But then we're going to do one from scratch in Dash. Let's do an actual feature with this. You want to do a feature file for?
Yeah.
Just real quick, and then we'll move to Dash.
Yep.
Okay, because we can use those same features, that same feature file we make. We can use this in whether we're trying to express that in a text-based UI or a Dash UI, and so that's kind of the thing. Feature files are portable with the Gherkin format, right?
Yep.
So let's just tell it a few things about ourselves. So make a what do we want to call
Captain?
Yeah. Oh,
The
sorry.
prime directive.
Sorry. Voice. Okay, let's switch over to voice.
Here at the at the USS Agentic, we only use voice to code
As much as possible.
as much as possible.
And this keyboard's not even, it's kind of wobbly. Like, I don't even have it set up right. So voice is...
Because we don't even use keyboards.
Yeah, what is this? What? Okay, so we're ready for the mission file. So what are we going to put in a mission file? Is it going to be our features or just the background? Or
So the mission is just the background. What are we trying to accomplish? It's very high level. This is something that is an executive or an admiral runs in and goes, I need this, and then walks out.
Right. Okay.
And we usually state the purpose, the problem, and the solution.
We wish to make an LCAR style system that we can interact with as a UI that runs processes on our computer and shows us the results.
Yeah, please put this in a markdown file.
And let's call this mission.md.
Yes.
All right, let's give that a shot.
So Aider heard what we said and is going to get to work.
So already you can see using Aider is so sweet. Instead of having a control click back over to like here, you could tell it the same thing, but you would be copying and pasting. So already the thing about Aider is it's like, can I make this file for you? It just does work. It's a workhorse. Props to whoever the team who made Aider.
If you right click on it, hit preview.
All right.
Ooh,
Yeah. All right.
full
Let's see.
screen it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So in this case,
Yeah.
elf car style.
Elf car. So it heard elf car. Okay.
Yeah,
We might have to change that.
possibly.
It might be interesting. Let's try again, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's redo that mission file. The one you have is too much like a task manager. Instead, this is LCAR, LCAR, very much like Star Trek. And it's just a very beautiful interface showing us artistic representations of a few processes that we want to monitor.
Yep.
So let's modify that mission and update it a bit. So let's just see what it comes up with. If not, we'll keep going. But the mission's really important to get. All right. So let's see what it does. All right. So the library computer access retrieval system. All right.
That's what LCAR stands
That
for.
is what it says for. So display representations of the process. Yeah, visual feedback, immersive, and this is way better.
This is where we get kind of into a lower level of what do we want it to do.
Right.
So driving processes. What processes that we want to drive terminal connects?
Yeah, it is going to need to know a little bit more about what we want to do.
Yep.
So, are you comfortable writing like the tech stack that we're going to use, like mandating that everything we're about to do is going to be kind of Gherkin BDD?
Yep.
And it's going to be in Python. It's going to be in Dash. We've already picked Dash as
Yep.
our. Do you want to kind of set that?
Do the system knowledge now and then the
system
features.
knowledge.
I like that.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, all right. So, create a file called systemknowledge.md. It's a markdown file. And in that, specify that you're only going to write things from the top down, starting with BDD, with features written in Gherkin, then the steps to be completed, and only then can you do the code. Also, the tech stack is going to be Python. It's also going to be Dash for any UI.
And we're going to use behave to test.
That's right. And keep it simple. All right.
The main point of like starting, even if you don't know where you're going, just get it out to Aider. It'll fill in the blanks, and then it puts you in the seat of editing versus creating, and that moves a lot faster.
So here's some system knowledge. So top down just means like you're starting from like the high level concept and you're working down. Like previously, before AI and Aider and all these systems were going to help me, I'm a lazy programmer. I am not going to go do all that. It never seems like the juice is worth the squeeze, right?
Yep.
But now, trust me, this is really worth the squeeze. Spend in the moment. You know, as a human, just like how am I going to communicate to you as a product manager or somebody else, like what we're doing if we don't put some of these files together?
Yep.
But they're actionable. They're not just business requirements that you have to like go off and do, and nobody can do anything with them. Aider is about to do something. Aider is about to follow these instructions every time. This is very much like a system prompt.
Yeah.
So, but there we go.
That's our tech stack.
Yeah, sorry, this mouse is real twitchy. There we go. But yeah, this looks good. It's going to follow BDD, keep it simple. Yeah, okay. And I really like this stuff. This is one of the best tech stack, cleanest tech stack files I've seen for just that.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep this one around.
Now keep in mind, Mike, we have been doing this for a while. So don't feel bad if you're having to go back and like reiterate. That's also part of the learning process, learning to work with your droids and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we're just going to start calling Aider a droid because we just want to be geeky and live in a spaceship. We're not rocket shit. We're not going to do that. All right, so now we have like what we want, our mission. We have our system knowledge, and now let's add just in case. Let's add to the system knowledge what our project structure looks like.
Okay.
And we're going to have it do that. So there's a specific project structure for BDD. Okay. Please add to the system knowledge the folder structure. And as you know, the typical folder structure is /features at the top level and /steps underneath the features. And also put a note in system knowledge. Encourage everyone to break out multiple .feature files. Separate your concerns as you go. Let's see what it says there. This folder structure is very important. So when we start to get into behavioral driven design and you're running the command called behave will be expecting a features file folder and things that end in .feature to describe. We'll show you that in a second. And then steps are like your tests. They're like your acceptance tests. Every sentence you say in a feature gets an acceptance test down here. And we're going to show you how that makes really easy code in just a second.
Let's think this through for a second. We want the feature to let's start simple. Keep it simple, like the system knowledge.
Yeah.
And we're just going to have it create a terminal, be able to execute a terminal command
like
from
an
a dash UA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So we're just going to input a command and we're going to see the results somewhere, right?
Yep. Okay. For the first feature, we want to be able to input a command in the terminal and execute it and then see the results. All of this in a dash UI.
Let's see how it does. So I just want to go see what it wrote real quick, okay? I didn't actually want it to write my source. It didn't follow that instruction. I literally just wanted it to get my features in place, and I wanted to take a moment and look at the features and see if I liked them.
Yep.
Now I can tell these features aren't colored, so I'm going to go to an extension and I'm going to just install like a Gherkin viewer. So this is for Cucumber Gherkin, but it's got syntax highlighting. So Cucumber is the same version if you're running BDD and behave for BDD and behave to Python is the same as BDD Cucumber is to JavaScript. Awesome. Behave to Python and so it's the same. But I think it's going to give us syntax highlighting right here in our feature file. So I like to see the colors, right?
Yep.
So this is a feature file, and it basically has a little background, that you can read quite easily. So, I'm in the LCAR system, and I want to input something, and it gives a scenario that says, it's got this given when then syntax. Do I explain that?
Yeah, so given is the first requirement, given the LCAR system is running. When is when a user does something, when I enter a command, echo hello LCAR in the input. And I'm doing multiple things. I click the execute button. Then, once I've completed my action, the code or the system will give me an output and display it on the UI.
Right. So a lot of teams, they're real big on Agile. They're real big on user stories. And usually the user stories I see are not as well thought out versus if you use the Gherkin syntax.
Yep.
So the Gherkin syntax is just as easy to write your user stories in, but it's very actionable. These particular things become tests in the steps. So you see, given this, then it does a test. When, blah, 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 blah.
So one interesting thing, it did do top down.
It did, yeah.
Because if you look, the steps aren't implemented.
That's true. That's true.
Now, if you look at the app.py,
it went straight.
It just built the UI. Clicker. Open her up.
All right.
Whoa.
All right. Not bad. Not bad. So this is the ls command. It actually ran the ls command. That's cool. But we're going to connect the steps up real fast. Oh, I like it. I like it. This is already good. I want to see if. All right. So the enter button. I don't think did it. Let me try again. Yeah. So the next thing you can do is ask it to do that, but as a feature.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to tell it is, I believe all your steps are passing because they're mocked up. Please don't mock or pass a test. I want you to do a real step. So what I'm trying to get it to do is these steps over here, trying to run behave on this particular set of features. And that's really great. Let's do that. So this is where we want to be. We want to see some failures. So believe it or not, failures are your path to success. That's the secret of BDD. So it seems backwards that we're bending over backwards. We had working code, but we didn't have working code connected all the way from the feature through automated tests that can test everything you do with your code.
Yep.
And that's what's happening. So what this is happening is like, when I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and so what it's saying is, all three of these sentences failed or were skipped. And so none of the scenarios passed, and so none of the ultimate features, which is right here, this feature is not successful. So the magic comes when you add this output to Aider. I would say this is the first magical moment that we really want to show you here,
yep.
Right? So here we go. We're going to let it know that it didn't pass its test, and it's going to
/run behave.
Yeah.
Yeah, /run behave.
You want to do /run. So /run behave right here directly.
Yep.
We'll feed that in. Okay. So we're going to add that. And then from here, it's just going to take off. From here, it's going to realize there was a problem. This is what we call warping. It's just our made-up name.
Yep.
It's like a cool Trekkie name. But you're going to find out this is the warp cycle, right? So run shell command behave. Sorry about this, pals.
So it fixed itself.
Yeah. So it saw it.
It saw all the errors from the output and all the failures. Then it addressed all those failures and errors. And then when you ran behave again, it tried to run everything again, and all the errors were cleaned out.
So here's where we're trying to get to. We have our feature files. We have steps that are real. It really shouldn't be mocking anything up. It should be the real thing. And it should be pulling up this code and running everything through here in this code.
Yeah. So go back to the steps.
Yeah.
So that's Dr. Mock.
Maybe it says that it's. Oh, it is. It's got magic mock in here. So I don't want to. I don't want to mock up. I don't want to mock up these steps. We should probably put in our system knowledge to not. Don't put to do. Don't put pass, and don't put mock in your steps.
Let's add it.
There is a time to mock up your steps when you have like a really complex system that you need to go pretend like you are talking to, like an API or something, and you don't have that yet. That's appropriate. But within this code, there's no complex system. It shouldn't be mocking any of this up. So I'll just say voice. Please add an important note to system knowledge. Do not mock up steps. And in your steps, don't put to do and don't put pass. Always implement the steps in real code. Let's just add something like that to our system knowledge and keep it on the guardrails. Let's go see what it adds to.
Okay. Scroll down.
Okay, yeah.
Key principles.
Right. Maintain, breakout. Okay, remember, no code should be written. Encourage, always implement in real code. Do not use mock-ups like pass or to do. Okay, so hopefully this sentence will, sometimes I like to do this. Please show me your understanding and system knowledge about whether you should mock something up or not. And that just sort of gets it into the chat, kind of steeps it. Oh, don't make a change. All right. Yeah, so it's clear that, okay, so it understands that. Now we got that in the chart.
Now let's have it review its code.
Okay. Why don't you review your code, especially the steps?
It's almost like training a young starship captain, an ensign.
Yeah.
I want to add a new scenario under the feature. Whenever I hit enter, it actually executes the terminal command.
Let's do that. So now we're off to the races. It should remember everything of the features, all the automated tests, and we just have this little warp loop where it just typically doesn't get off track once you get it on the rails. Okay.
2 scenarios, now it's tester.
Yep. Okay. We'll get that. LS, and I'm gonna hit enter. Dude, I did it.
And it works.
Yeah. So
That's the power of BDD.
Yeah. I mean, it just gets better and better as your project grows. It doesn't catastrophically forget all those other things, because if it ever forgets that you're supposed to have an input box, or that the fact that you hit enter is supposed to do that, it's got this test right here. It's got this feature that says right here, push the enter key, and it's got a step. It says, look, I'm going to push the enter key, and I'm literally going to make sure that this test passes. So that's how it locks it in.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey man, thanks for coming to Starship today.
Captain Gherk.
Yeah, Captain BDD. And for the audience out there, we hope to make some more of these, and we'll show you making some more complicated apps. Or you'll get to see us. We're going to keep working on
Our LCAR system.
Yeah.
We'll be able to talk to it, run, behave. Eventually, that becomes the LCAR systems where we actually build our projects.
Yeah.
We get into more automation where our droid Aider can work more independently. and we get higher and higher, where next we're at just the step level. Then we're at just the feature level.
Yeah. All right. Well, signing off.